Hey, we coming up on our 12:15 time. We're
Let's
very
get it, y'all.
excited.
We are so ready for this today, y'all.
We are wait to have
Mindful badassery.
yes,
Staying ready so you ain't got to get
that's
ready.
right. With Dr. Natalie Watson-Singleton.
Let's get
I am
it.
super excited to be here.
Yep.
It is 12:15.
Yep.
It is Thursday,
Let's get it.
June 2nd.
Ow.
I am Sonia Russell, co-founder and CEO of Special Sauce.
King David, co-founder and chief strategy officer of Special Sauce, y'all. And we are here.
We are here, and we are excited about our speaker series with... Speaker series does not sound sexy, though. Just for the record, it doesn't, but we really...
Can we just say some sessions on staying ready so you
don't have to get ready.
You already built that muscle up. So you ain't got to smack nobody in the face or nothing.
Exactly.
Ow.
So Dr. Natalie Watson-Singleton is here with us, and we are super excited. So we're gonna let me back up for just a second, because we came in here hot because we were excited and we had all the stuff we wanted to do and say. I want to take a minute for us to take a breath and just ground ourselves in this moment, bringing ourselves fully present, putting down everything that happened before this moment. We can pick it up later. Giving no concern to what has to happen later. Just be present with the breath. And in this presence with the breath, I want to also acknowledge the land on which David and I stand is Ohlone land here in the beautiful Oakland, California. And we simply want to be present, recognizing that our ancestors are always supporting us. Yes. Thank you for that moment of coming to ourselves before we get in here talking to Dr. Natalie Watson. So let's make sure that people know
what's happening this month.
So in June, we just finished our Mental Health Awareness Month series, where we did every day, get your mind right in under 15 minutes a day, making sure that you spent some time in the app. And that was good. Like, we had a good, yes, can I just say,
run it.
The content of our app is spot on. It is on point. Get in there. If you have not downloaded the app, it's on Android, it's on Apple. Make sure you are with it, because I was already in there doing all of them, and having the daily, specific time where I needed to stop and take care of myself was revolutionary.
I got my whole entire life. It was beautiful. It was fantastic. And it demonstrated that it doesn't take all day to get and to maintain a mind that is right and present and aware, and all the things that we are actively bringing to our community through our app.
Perfect. Yes. So let's intro Dr. Natalie.
Yeah, man,
so y'all heard enough of us.
So
let's get her in here. Yes.
Most affectionately known as, and actually officially known as, the mother of the content of the Black Mindfulness app. We have Dr. Natalie Watson-Singleton, who is actually on the faculty at Spelman as an assistant professor of psychology.
It's been promoted to associate.
Oh, yes! Promotion, yes! That we love it. So ain't no way that you can do good stuff in the world and not be leaning into promotion. So so I love to hear that the mother of our content has been promoted. So on faculty at Spelman, where the content was developed in the clinical psychology department.
She's also
licensed clinical psychologist.
Yes.
Brings all the credentials. What I love about Dr. Natalie, in addition to all of the amazing credentials that this mindful badass brings to every space that she steps her foot into, she brings her compassion and she brings her heart. And that really grounds the work, and it really makes the work impactful and expansive. So Sonia and I feel immensely blessed to know that the content that we are actively commercializing has your hands and your footprints all over it. So Dr. Natalie, thank you in public. Thank you behind closed doors for all you are actively doing, because the connection hasn't stopped. We've interviewed Dr. Natalie before.
Sure enough.
We will interview Dr. Natalie multiple times.
Come on.
Because there is wisdom and there is truth and there is love to be shared. And we are grateful that you are always willing to be that channel. So y'all, get ready, because mindful badass Dr. Natalie Watson-Singleton is going to bring it like she always does. And we're ready.
I don't follow that introduction. I so appreciate it.
Good, good. Well, we love you and we appreciate you. And so we're excited about this. So let's just jump into this conversation, because what we really are talking about is stress. We're talking about this. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Life is like there is a lot to be stressed out about in the world right now, in our own backyards, potentially in our homes, in the streets, in our schools, in our grocery stores. There are things happening that are really challenging us. And so we want to start with just breathing into this life. Now, I want to start just us getting to know you a little bit, Dr. Natalie. So I want to find out from you. I want to tell the people where did you grow up and what were you like as a kid? That's where I really want to just start there.
Mm-hmm.
So although I'm joining you from Atlanta, I actually grew up in the Bay Area, South Bay, San Jose, California. And I was an only child. I am an only child, and I very much sort of identify as an only child. And so what that meant was I learned really early on how to be with myself. And so it was not uncommon for me to be playing with my Barbies by myself, my dolls, and entertaining myself. And I think I was also a reserved child, and I think people would describe me as an old soul about me at a young age, which is also part of the reason why as I've gotten older, making more space for fun and play to reconnect with that childlike wonder that's so important.
Sure enough. I love that. I was kind of an old lady as a kid too.
Old man over here. Look, what I love about what you did, you came out the gate leaning into, so our app is built on 3 guiding principles. The 7 principles of mindfulness. Of course, you know this. This is for the people. Principles in Guzo Sava and Ma'at, an ancient Kemetic symbol. And so one of the principles of mindfulness is a beginner's mind. Yeah. Right? So, and that childlike wonder, I think there's a connection between that and a beginner's mind. It makes total sense in the way that I have experienced you approach content. Right. So I wanted to lift that up because the mother of our content is actively embodying the principles of our app. How about that?
All the time. So then let's get in here. So Dr. Natalie, let's talk about before we talk about sort of the specific stress, can we talk a little bit about what the effects of stress are like on our bodies? Because Black folks, being Black is stressful, right? Like it just is.
The racism cause.
Racism. Now, okay, let me back up. Being Black is lit and beautiful and amazing and powerful.
All the stuff.
All the things. And it feels dangerous, right? It feels stressful. And so can you talk a little bit about, because tapping into your zone of genius, right? What the effects of stress on our bodies and on our minds and on our lives. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, most definitely. Being in a Black body in a white supremacist society is stressful.
Come on. Oof.
And so
drop the mic.
Think about how stress impacts us. It impacts us in a multifaceted way. It impacts our cognition, right? So our thought processes, our perceptions, how we see the world. We may notice that when we're stressed, we have difficulty concentrating, staying focused, which is why mindfulness is so important. When we're stressed, we notice that it impacts our emotional experience, right? We might be more irritable, more on edge, more anxious, feel more overwhelmed. Stress also impacts our we can feel stress impact being almost like in fight or flight mode when we're stressed. And stress impacts our behaviors, right? So we might engage and do things when we're stressed that we might not do when we're not stressed. So, clicking one too many times on Amazon, shopping, trying to shop our stress away. Overeating, under-eating, the kinds of foods we crave. And so our behaviors are also impacted by stress. And so stress impacts in multiple.
Sure enough. Just all the above.
Just laid it all. E.
Like
option E.
Option E. All of the above. That's part of my life. Yes. So then, thank you for that. So then, let's talk about specific, right? Like narrow it down. What stresses you out? Like what kind of things stress you out, and then tell us how it shows up for you. How does it show up in your body? How does it show up in your life? Because that matters. Because sometimes I don't think we recognize it as stress, right? When it shows up in our lives and in our behaviors. But can you speak to it a little bit from your perspective?
Because it's been normalized.
Right.
That's
to just be stressed, right? And doesn't have to be.
Yeah. Even Dr. Natalie gets stressed. And I think that's why it's so important, right? Like, yes, I've created content for the app, and yes, I have a mindfulness practice, but that doesn't stop me from experiencing stress. And the things that cause me stress, I feel like, child, these interpersonal interactions, anything that involves another person I cannot control, that is stressful, right?
That's real tough.
Family stress, relationship stress, working with colleagues, working with students, anything that involves another person who I don't have control over, that can be stressful. I think also juggling multiple hats. So being a faculty member, being a psychologist, a business owner, a wife, a daughter, wearing those multiple hats, although I feel blessed to wear those multiple hats, it's stressful to try to keep all those balls in the air.
Sure enough.
And for me, the matter my stress. And so that's just a fancy way of saying my stress gets high. So I hold a lot of tension in my neck and shoulders, which is why I'm also a big proponent of getting massages when I can.
I love that you lifted up the many hats that many of us are wearing, because again, from a standpoint of normalizing it, it's awesome to take a moment to celebrate how much we are carrying.
Yeah.
Right.
And how we continue to thrive and excel in spite of all that we're carrying, in addition to the stress that comes along with all of those different hats. And we're still thriving and we're still here.
Yeah.
Right. And I love that you lift up self-care as a way to really support the stress reduction.
And I feel like, especially as Black people, as people of color, when you talk about sort of how stress has also been normalized, I think in a lot of ways for us, struggle has been normalized, where
come on,
yeah,
we're supposed to be able to shoulder it. We're supposed to be able to keep it moving at all costs. And part of the reason also why I love mindfulness is it provided a different option, right? Like, what if I could keep moving? What if I could pause, take a break, check in with myself?
You better come on in here and break down all these old thought patterns that's not serving us well. You better come on in here and do it. Thank you, Dr. Natalie.
For real, Dr. Natalie. I love that. And so let's talk about your go-to practices then, because I love really the fact that we lean into making sure we're saying this is something that has shown up around us. Like, don't get me wrong, sometimes we stress ourselves out, right? Like, we are doing our own too much, right? But then there are systems in place and, situations and processes that exist that impact us directly and cause us stress. And the idea that instead of shouldering the burden and keeping it pushing, that we can sit our selves down and like be present is revolutionary, right? It's revolutionary.
We are worthy and deserving of a pause for the cause.
That's right. And I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. So Dr. Natalie, can you tell us a little bit about what your go-to practices are, the mindfulness practices that you use that really kind of, bring you peace and grounding and all that stuff when, instead of slapping somebody in the face? Like, that's really what we try to get to.
The open hand. You gotta be very specific.
The open hand, slapping somebody in the face.
So my sort of go-to mindfulness practice is checking in with breath. I love how to be alive is to always have the breath available to us, right? And so I don't have to do nothing fancy, and it doesn't cost me anything to check in with the breath. And I think bringing mindfulness, bringing that focused attention to the present moment to anything that I'm doing. So like I said, going to get a massage, right? If I decide to treat myself in that way, actually being present with the experience of the massage, right? Like, I don't have to be on the massage table thinking about my grocery list or my emails, right? So bringing attention to those other things that I also enjoy to do. And so for me, mindfulness is definitely the formal practices like the breathing exercise, but really the like attention of mindfulness and bringing that more and more into my daily life has been so powerful in how I respond to and manage stress.
I love that. The breath that's the nut. And it's free 99. Free 99.
Right. And I love that you lifted up practices that are accessible.
Yeah.
And that are, when I say accessible, I mean from a free 99 standpoint, from a consciousness standpoint. It's, you know, what you've offered up requires only one thing, and that's a willingness.
Yeah.
And I appreciate everything that you lifted up. It just requires that. And that's something that we all have a willingness. Yeah. So thank you.
And the other thing that I appreciate about the Blackfulness app, right? Like there's that specific guided practice, I can breathe.
Yes.
A lot of times we can take the breath for granted or think like, oh, just checking in with the breath, that's simple. But our community members are literally having their breath snatched away. And so what an honor it is to be able to tune into the
It's almost like an act of solidarity, right? For every breath that's being taken, being reminded of those folks whose breath has been, to your point, snatched and taken away. Wow. I love that.
I love that. I love that. That's for real.
I can breathe.
Yeah.
Right.
We can breathe.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
And this is just a shameless plug. Y'all get into the app and
Seriously.
get at that I Can Breathe meditation. Like it's right there. The app is presently free. Also free 99. So y'all get in there.
But not forever.
But not forever.
So get in there.
So if you don't have that, then we're going to encourage you to get in there for sure. Thank you for that. So because I also want to make sure we lift up that it is, in addition to it being Pride.
Happy Pride, y'all. Yes, happy Pride. Yes. Happy Pride.
I want to lift up that it is also Black Music Appreciation Month. For those of you who do not know, the month of June is Black Music Appreciation Month. And Black folks quite consistently and in a really broad sweeping way really used music as a mindfulness practice. Now, but one of the things that's happening for Blackfulness is that we want to make sure that people know that there are things that you're doing that you don't call mindful that are mindful. Right. And so we're trying to kind of lean into drawing that out, because once you put some intention on something, it completely changes how it affects your life and how you can achieve that goal. Right. Just by putting some intention on it. And so we put a lot of attention on music. We start all our meetings with music. Matter of fact, we need to make sure we have a little opening.
We got y'all next week.
That's right. We need to have a little opening, like music.
Body roll a little bit.
Come on. Like
body roll.
Body rolls as a mindfulness practice.
That's one of my mindfulness practices.
Body roll. That's a mindfulness practice.
Very much an embodied practice, and mindfulness is very much an embodied practice.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I love it. So, what's on your anti-stress playlist though? Like, I really want to hear what kind of music do you use to ground yourself or to get hyped up, right? Even that, mindfulness isn't always just about sitting and being still. Yep. It's about being able to be in your life and being present to all of it, right? You're not overdoing, like you said, not on the massage table thinking about groceries, right? Like, how do you sort of embody that? But what's your playlist look like that sort of brings you, what's bringing you life right now?
You know, anything Jill is my go-to. Jill Scott just does something to me. And when I think about Jill Scott's music, I think about in my car, driving, sunroof open, beautiful sunny day. So anything Jill Scott is my go-to. I'd also say that, special shout out to David, because if I think about the Blackfulness meetings that we have and the Bill Withers Lovely Day, there is just something about
all day.
Withers Lovely Day that just, so that has been on my anti-stress playlist and a song that I now often play even at the start of my classes, especially testing. So we already gonna set the tone for this, right? That this is a lovely day. You got this.
That's right.
So those are some of the things on my anti-stress playlist.
I love everything about all of that. Who doesn't love some
Live my life like it's golden. Live my life like it's golden.
Some Queen Jill.
Come on.
We're not messing with that. And, yes, Lovely Day is all the way the jam. We really appreciate that. So thank you.
Oof.
So what we're trying to do, folks, is really sort of tap into people who we believe to be Black mindfulness thought leaders, people who can really help us. We can see ourselves and people who are getting their best lives using mindfulness. And we are just grateful to have spent the time with you, grateful to be connected with you. This opportunity of working on Blackfulness and bringing it to the world after you did all of that beautiful research through Spelman with NIH, really, we are poised to change lives.
Let me tell you, it was the major alley-oop. The major alley-oop. So I think I can speak when I say this for both Sonya's and my parts of our divine missions and purpose for being on this planet.
Sure
and
enough.
So the work that you and the team did, prior to us being here to commercialize the app, it was the perfect setup and the perfect alley-oop. Like the slam dunk is about to be real. It's about to be so real.
Sure enough. We're so grateful. We're so grateful for the time. We're grateful for the presence of Black women. We're grateful for all of the work you're doing in the world, not only as a because I love teachers. Like, can I just say, associate professor is a big fancy way to say teacher.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
my life would be what it is if it was not for
teachers are my
teachers.
heart. Yes. And I love that. I love that you are showing up to be willing, to be open and to be available. And we're so, so, so grateful for your presence. We want to make sure that we lift up what the other sessions we have coming up.
So y'all know every Thursday, 12:15, IG Live, Blackfulness, we'll have other thought leaders. Next week is my homie, my boy, my brother, Andre Humphreys. He is the founder of Inner City Bliss. He's a trauma-informed meditation and yoga teacher, and he is bringing the power of the breath to our Black men and boys.
Right. Yeah.
And
We
he's reminding us that we can breathe.
That's right.
100%. So next week is going to be lit. Thank you, Dr. Natalie, for sparking us off. Like
the mother of our content. Come on. I was going to say mother of dragons, but that's not what this is.
I'm like,
Slay racism, slay health disparity, slay.
yeah, slay it all. Yes. I love that.
Yep. Slay it. Let's go.
That's good.
Thank you, Dr. Natalie, for the time. We appreciate your presence. Y'all be with us next Thursday at the 9th at 12:15 p.m. Pacific time for Andre Humphrey. And we're out here being blessed.
How about y'all bring 3 people with you too? How about that?
And bring some people. Sure enough. Dr. Natalie, thank you. Have a beautiful and blessed day. Bye, fam.
See y'all.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Peace.